Hello, my name is Lillian Okibe. Welcome to another loose natural hair video. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create thick and juicy braids on wash day. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. So I'm starting on freshly washed hair. If you guys want to see her wash day routine, I'm going to leave the video up in the iCard. So I just washed her hair about 30 minutes ago. And as you guys can see, I'm wearing a shirt from my merch collection. This is one of the items that is going to be coming out tomorrow. So make sure you save the date because the items will be available for only a limited amount of time. So make sure you grab yours before it runs out. So the first thing I do is spray some water on her hair because like I said, I washed her hair about 30 minutes ago, so it's already getting dry. So I'm just like re-wetting it. I'm not putting too much water, just like enough to make it a little bit damp because I don't want it to be soaking wet. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply the star of the day and that is shea butter. You guys know that like my natural hair video is not complete if I do not use shea butter because shea butter is simply amazing. So after applying shea butter all over her hair to help like moisturize and prevent her hair from getting dry, I go ahead to start the styling process. I usually part her hair with a rattle comb because I like the parts to be like crisp and neat just because there has to be a difference between when I'm doing someone else's hair and like when I'm doing my own hair. If I'm doing my own hair, like nobody has time to be passing rattle comb from the back, but doing it on someone else is actually easier. So I'm going ahead to part the rattle comb, and you guys can see how I'm parting the hair. I'm digging the comb into the hair to create like the neat part on the scalp, but I use my fingers to separate the hair. This will help to reduce the amount of pain you go through, and it will also help to reduce how much breakage you encounter as you're using a rattle comb to part your hair. So the next thing I do is take some more shea butter and apply on the ends of her hair. I'm focusing on the ends. This will help to elongate the ends, and it will also help to make my finger detangling easier. I hardly use a comb whether I'm doing my hair or I'm doing other people's hair. So yeah, I'm not detangling a comb. We just took down the mini twist that we did in the last loose natural hair video before I washed her hair today, you know. So, and I did not detangle her hair in the mini twist, but I always use my fingers whenever I'm doing everything. And you guys can see I'm going ahead to apply a little bit more water because I felt like that section was too dry. I think I did not put enough water when I was spraying all over the hair because like it's the lower portion of her hair. So I'm going ahead to work it in and also like do like quick detangling. I feel like at this point I am a pro at detangling with my fingers. Like I find it easier to detangle hair with my fingers than using a comb, and it's actually a plus because finger detangling helps to reduce breakage. So I see no reason why I should be using a comb at this point because like I'm actually a pro when I'm detangling with my fingers. Anyway, so the next thing I do is bring out the section of hair I want to braid. I'm also passing a rattle comb, and then this is when I do the finishing touches of the finger detangling. So you guys can see I'm just like using like the thumb pulling motion to remove shed hairs and to like separate the hair just to make sure that I remove all the tangles and potential knots that may be in there. The next thing I do is divide that section into 3 equal parts. You want to make sure that the parts are as equal as you can make them because you don't want to borrow. If you borrow, like it's just going to mess up the whole process because takedown will be difficult and you're not going to get the results that you want. So next I start to braid. Now I'm braiding kind of similar to how I braid when I do the temporary locks, but I'm going to tell you guys the difference. I'm braiding normally how you normally because I want the roots to be taut and firm and neat, and I want the parts to be like really obvious. So I'm braiding like regular normal how you braid when you're doing regular braids, kind of tight. But as I move down the length of the hair, I reduce the grip of the hair and kind of like braid a little loose. Now for this particular section, I braided tightly far down the length of the hair just because I want to show you guys something. I'll tell you guys about that later on in this video. So but as I'm braiding down the length of the hair, I'm braiding kind of loose. This is not the exact technique for doing the temporary locks. I see that so many people do this when they attempt to do the temporary locks, and that's why they do not get the result. This is not loose enough for the temporary locks, you know. So I braid until when I have about 1 inch or 2 inches of hair, and then I take some more shea butter and apply on the ends and twirl the hair around my finger. You guys saw how the hair just like bunched up and plumped up as I let go of it. That is how you will know that you have braided loose enough. If you, by the time you leave your hair, it doesn't bunch up and plump up, then you have not done a good job. So you guys can see like how plump it is. And then I go ahead and twirl the hair around my finger. You may have to twirl multiple times to seal the ends, so just continue to twirl and twirl and twirl until when the ends are like sealed. And you guys can see that the section at the root is really skinny, and then you can see how the ends are like chunky and big. That is how much difference braiding kind of loose makes. Now compare that first braid I did to the other ones that I've done. You guys can see that it's like the first braid has more difference between the roots and the ends than the rest, and that's because I braided tightly far down the length of the hair than I would normally do, you know. So how much tension you put on your hair when you braid will greatly affect how thick your braids are going to be. So if you want to achieve thick results, then I highly recommend that when you're braiding your hair, you try to reduce the grip of your hair as you braid. Like, don't braid as tight, and that will give you thicker results. Now let me show you guys a better view of what I'm talking about. So you divide that section into 3 equal parts, and then you start to braid. You braid the base like normal, tight, not too tight that you're going to end up with headache, but like pretty firm and taut. So you braid kind of like, I would say maybe 1 inch to 2 inches. That's the part where you braid tight, kind of tight. And then as you move down the length of the hair, you gently reduce the grip of your hair. I feel like the more you practice this, the better you become at it. This is like, if you are doing temporary locks, you should be braiding looser than this. I see so many people do this and they say they are doing temporary locks. This is not loose enough to be the temporary locks. If you are braiding your hair for the purpose of doing temporary locks, it should be way looser than this. Like, at the end of the braid, you should hardly see, no matter how close you come to the hair, you should hardly see the pattern of the braid. But as you guys can see, this I'm braiding pretty loose, but not as loose as I would have made it if I was doing the temporary lock. So know the difference. Like, I cannot say this enough. Know the difference. Now, another advantage of braiding, whenever you're braiding your hair, another advantage of braiding loosely is that you are going to have less stress when it's time to take down the braids. Now, so many people say that braids are cute, but the problem is when it's time to take down, like, it's so stressful and things like that. But if you braid loose, you're not going to have that much stress when you're taking down the braids. Like, it's going to be pretty easy, like almost like twist. So if you have that issue of long take down time, you should try to braid a little loose. Look at how plump the braid is. Like, just take a look at how juicy and plump the braid is. Like, I really don't know why people enjoy extremely tight braids, but like anytime I braid, I like that volume and thickness, and that's why you will hardly see me do tight braids. Like, I don't think, let me think, I don't think I've done tight braids in a very long time. Like, I don't think so. So this is another view. You guys can see how juicy and plump the braid. Look at, just take a look. Ooh, like, this is so juicy. Can you guys see this? You compare this to how my hair usually looks when I do the temporary locks, and you guys see the difference. Like, now the braids are loose, but you can still obviously see the pattern of the braids even when I leave the hair for it to plump up. But when you do the temporary locks, you should not be able to see the pattern of the braids even on day one. So this is the end result. Like, I'm done braiding all the hair, and you guys can see how voluminous and how juicy the braids look. Like, they're so juicy. Ooh. They look so nice and so shiny, and we owe that to shea butter, of course, because shea butter just adds that like juice and shine to the hair. You guys can see like how healthy and plump the braids are, despite the fact that I like, these are not the temporary locks, but they are still pretty voluminous and still pretty juicy. I also want to add that it's very important to make sure that on day one, like after you've washed your hair, whatever style you do, you want to make sure that you moisturize it adequately, so that as you wear the style, you're not going to have to need to do too much to maintain the style. Like, all the styles that I've shown you guys, like during the period that she wears the styles, like she hardly does anything to like maintain the moisture level in her hair or anything like that, just because I make sure that I do a detailed job and an amazing job whenever I'm doing this style. And you guys can see how relaxed she looks, and that's because I have tender hands. Anyway, this is the finished look, and I love how everything came out. I love how thick the braids look from ends to roots, and I also love how like crisp and clear the parts look. She can wear it down, she can wear it up in a like a bun or like a ponytail, however she chooses to wear the style. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.